Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to the segment of Coach Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day, the recitation. Deen chhadaye duni jo laye, dohi sarai khunami kahaye. This is Suhi Mahalla Panjwa, Guru Arjan Dev Ji. And the literal translation of this first stanza is Deen Chadai Duni Jo Lai, one who lets go or abandons Deen and becomes attached to Duni, earns disrepute in both realms. And so now the contrast between Deen and Duni becomes important. Duni is dunya, the world. However, worldly existence is not being condemned, because when we view the rest of the Sabad, we will see what the Guru really means. Family, livelihood, possessions, social involvement, pleasure, all of this belongs to Duni, but none of this is inherently an obstacle. The problem is expressed in the verb lie, becomes attached, fastened, or absorbed into it. And so Deen is also not to be translated as institutional religion. It is really the inner orientation by which life remains connected to the larger reality. This is Gur-centered consciousness that prevents Haume from becoming the sole measure of things. To abandon one for the other, to abandon Deen for Duni, is to exchange an inward compass for outward acquisition. And gradually what happens is the world in which I live, it becomes my identity. And such a bargain, the Guru says, fails. It fails in Duhi Sarai Khunami Pai. Duhi Sarai, both realms. Conventionally, one would think the other realm being the hereafter, but actually, the other is the psychological realm. Outer and inner dimension of life is what is being talked about. Outwardly, one may succeed, but still become compromised. But if your inner compass is oriented to good consciousness, then the outward life becomes delightful. In the Rahau, Jo tis pavai so parvan, apni kudrat ape jaan rahau. Jo tis pavai, whatever is in harmony with that one is acceptable, because that one alone knows its own kudrat, its nature, its creative unfolding. So the question through the Rahau is not, should I choose Deen over Duni? The question is, what way of living is in concordance with the whole, with the one? Jo tis pave, so parvan. How do I live so that I'm in harmony with Jo tis pave? And here, no deity is being suggested. It is in accord with hukam, Jo tis pave. I have to bring myself into harmony with hukam. And then, apni kudrat ape jaan. The whole hukam comprehends itself, the unfolding of existence, that immeasurable web of causes, relationships, circumstances. The ego simply sees a very small fragment of it. So really, one has to shift the center of consciousness to from what do I want this reality to do for me towards how do I harmonize myself with reality as it unfolds. Stanza 2. सच्चा धर्म पुन भला कराए दीन कै तो सैर दुनी न जाए. Sacha Taram, the true way of living, leads one toward virtue and goodness, virtue and reason. When you have the provisions of this inner orientation, deen, the world is not lost. So this stanza prevents us from turning the opening lines into an argument for renunciation. As we said, Guruji is not saying leave dunya and pursue deen. He's saying when you possess the provisions of deen, duni itself is not lost. Tosa, provisions for the journey. When you have the provisions for the journey, then the journey is successful. It causes goodness to be done. Pun pala karaye. Sacha taram becomes your expression. Sarab nirantar eko jagay, jit jit laya tit tit ko lagay. Within all, that one alone is awake. Wherever each has been placed, there each becomes engaged. So beneath deen and duni is this deeper ontology of the sabad. Sarv nirantar eko jagya. Within everything, the one is awake, meaning to the many forms that are visible, the underlying reality is one. So the person who's pursuing wealth, the person practicing devotion, one is succeeding, one is failing, and so on and so forth. The ego imagines all of this to be separate. The guru is destabilizing that assumption. Jit jit laya tit tit ko lagya. Each of us becomes engaged where the movement of hukam, circumstance, conditioning, consciousness places us. This is not fatalism. The point is more profound than that. You can't say, oh, well, hukam makes me do, so nothing matters. What is being said is that your independent self, or what you think is your independent self, is part of a broader nexus. There are countless causes that I did not create: body, temperament, language, what have you. We are far less autonomous than we think we are. And this is part of the learning, to know this. To do this is not to become passive. To realize this, to actually reorient the way you do things in life. So when you see this, deen becomes less a collection of beliefs and doctrine, more a quality of consciousness. Within the vast movement I live, without insisting that I am the center. And now, in conclusion, Agamaya Gochar Sach Sahib Mera, Nanak Bole Bulaye Tera. So you see, the Sahib is inaccessible, beyond sensory apprehension and real, but it is the one speaking through us. And we have to align with this authorship. Reality is not fully reachable by conceptual thought. It is not an object that can be captured, yet it is real. Speak, meaning move with this larger reality as it moves through you. Quieten the how may. Stop insisting that I am doing this, that, or the other. Move with the whole as it moves through you. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.